What is up, everyone? It's your boy JH Moore, back with another insane video. Today we're diving deep into the wilderness, a place where people go to find peace, to connect with nature, to escape the everyday grind. But what happens when that escape turns into an absolute nightmare? We've all seen those idyllic camping vlogs, right? S'mores, crackling campfires, starry nights. Sounds perfect. But sometimes the woods have other plans that are far from peaceful, plans that will send shivers down your spine and make you question ever stepping foot off the pavement again. Camping is supposed to be a peaceful escape into nature, but sometimes things take a terrifying turn. We're talking about those heart-stopping moments when the silence of the forest is broken by something truly unsettling, something you can't explain, something that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. These aren't just campfire stories, guys. These are real encounters, experienced by real people who thought they were just out for a relaxing trip. And the craziest part? They caught it all on camera. So buckle up, because you are not going to believe what we've found. We've scoured the internet, dug through countless clips, and compiled the absolute most chilling, most inexplicable, and most disturbing camping moments ever recorded. Forget your typical wildlife sightings. We're talking about encounters that defy logic and will make you want to sleep with the lights on. Here are the 6 most disturbing camping encounters ever caught on camera. You do not want to miss this. Alright, kicking things off with our first story, and trust me, this one is a classic wrong turn in the woods scenario, but amped up to 1,000. Imagine this. You and your best friends finally out for that camping trip you've been planning for months. You've got the snacks, the gear, the perfect remote spot deep in the national park. The first night is all laughs, spooky stories, the ironic kind, you know? And just good vibes around the fire. You think this is it, this is the life. But as the embers die down and the forest around you gets darker and quieter, that's when things start to feel off. The group in this clip, a bunch of college kids, were documenting their adventure, probably for a vlog or just for the memories. They're setting up their tents, joking around, everything seems totally normal. But then one of them mentions feeling like they're being watched. You know, that prickly sensation on your skin. Yeah, that. They try to brush it off. Maybe it's just the woods playing tricks on them, the shadows dancing, but the feeling doesn't go away. It intensifies. They start hearing faint rustling just beyond the tree line, too rhythmic to be an animal, too stealthy to be another camper. Then, bam! Their camera, which they'd left recording on a tripod to capture time-lapse shots of the stars or something, catches it. In the murky background just at the edge of the firelight's reach, a figure, not an animal, not clearly human, but definitely there. Tall, indistinct, just watching. The group doesn't even see it at first, but when they review the footage later, pure, unadulterated terror. They packed up and got out of there faster than you can say nightmare fuel. And honestly, who can blame them? What was that thing? Next up, we have a story that'll make you think twice about sleeping soundly in your tent. This poor camper, a solo traveler out for some quiet reflection in what they thought was a secluded part of the wilderness, woke up to something straight out of a horror movie. Can you even imagine? You go to sleep under the stars, feeling all peaceful and one with nature, and then you unzip your tent in the morning to find your entire campsite has been altered, desecrated even. It's enough to make your blood run cold. This camper had set up in a small clearing, everything meticulously arranged for a comfortable night. They reported nothing unusual the night before, just the typical sounds of the forest settling down, but when the sun rose and they emerged from their tent, they were met with an absolutely chilling sight. All around their tent, carved into the dirt and even on some of the nearby trees, were strange, intricate symbols. These weren't just random scratches, they looked deliberate, almost ritualistic. We're talking complex patterns, things that looked ancient and deeply unsettling. The camper, understandably freaked out beyond belief, immediately started filming. The footage shows these bizarre carvings, clear as day, surrounding the area where they had slept, completely vulnerable. Who or what could have done this? And why? Were they being marked? Was it a warning? The symbols didn't match any known local law or indigenous markings they could find. They felt an overwhelming sense of dread, like they had stumbled into something they were never meant to see, something ancient and possibly malevolent. Needless to say, they didn't stick around to investigate further. This next one involves a family. And let me tell you, when kids are involved, the fear factor just skyrockets. A young family, mom, dad, and 2 small children decided to go on their first big camping adventure together. They picked a well-known family-friendly campground, a place that's supposed to be safe, secure, and full of happy memories. They set up their large tent, got the kids excited about sleeping outdoors, and settled in for what they hoped would be a magical night under the stars, but the magic quickly turned into absolute terror. As night fell, long after the kids had drifted off to sleep, the parents started hearing things. Not the usual crickets or owls, but strange guttural noises coming from just outside their tent. Snuffling, growling, and heavy footsteps circling their temporary home. They initially thought it might be a large animal, like a bear or a raccoon, but the sounds were different, more deliberate, more unsettling. They clutched each other, trying to stay quiet, hoping whatever it was would just move on. The fear must have been unbearable, knowing their children were just feet away. After what felt like an eternity of these terrifying sounds, an eerie silence descended. The parents, hearts still pounding, waited until the first light of dawn before daring to peek outside. What they found was chaos. Their campsite was ransacked, food containers ripped open and thrown about, gear scattered everywhere. But strangest of all, nothing significant was actually. It was like something had deliberately trashed their site out of malice, or perhaps in a frustrated search for something specific. The camera they had set up to film wildlife caught blurry images of movement and recorded those horrifying sounds, leaving them with chilling evidence of their night of terror. Chapter 4. The Lone Watcher, a solo camper's shadowy stalker. All right, solo campers, this one's for you, and it might just make you reconsider going out there alone. There's a special kind of bravery, or perhaps recklessness, that comes with venturing into the wilderness by yourself. You're completely reliant on your own skills, your own wits. This particular camper was experienced, loved the solitude, and often documented his trips. He was deep in a remote area, miles from any other human being, or so he thought. His goal? To capture stunning astrophotography and enjoy the profound silence of the deep woods. On his second night, while he was busy setting up his camera for long exposure shots of the Milky Way, he got that unmistakable feeling. You know the one. The feeling of eyes burning into your back. He scanned the tree line with his flashlight, but saw nothing. He tried to shake it off, telling himself it was just the isolation getting to him, the darkness playing tricks, but the feeling persisted, growing stronger, making it impossible to relax. He even started talking to himself, trying to break the oppressive silence and the mounting paranoia. He decided to keep his secondary camera, a small action cam, running continuously, just in case. And thank God he did. Because later, when reviewing the footage, he found it. While he was preoccupied with his main camera, focused on the sky, the action cam captured something truly bone-chilling. A shadowy figure, tall and slender, lurking just at the edge of his campsite, partially obscured by trees. It wasn't an animal. The silhouette was distinctly humanoid, but somehow wrong. It moved with an unnatural stillness, sometimes just standing there watching him. For how long had it been there? What did it want? The footage is grainy, it's dark, but it's undeniably there, a silent, menacing presence in the vast, empty wilderness. He never camped solo again. Chapter 5. The Unrelenting Pursuit. When a creature stalks your tent. This next encounter is pure nightmare fuel, especially for couples looking for a romantic getaway. Imagine this, you and your partner, out in a beautiful, secluded spot, planning a weekend of hiking, campfires, and quiet time together. A dream, right? Well, for this couple, that dream turned into a relentless, terrifying ordeal. When they realized they weren't just being watched, they were being actively stalked by something they couldn't identify. This wasn't a fleeting glimpse, this was a persistent, terrifying presence. It started subtly, strange tracks around their campsite that didn't match any local wildlife. The feeling of being observed from the dense undergrowth. Then came the noises at night, not just rustling, but heavy breathing, guttural clicks, and what sounded like something large circling their tent again and again. They'd shine their flashlights out, yell, make noise, and it would retreat for a bit, only to return, sometimes closer, sometimes bolder. The psychological toll of this must have been immense, trapped in a flimsy tent with an unknown predator just outside. The climax came on their second night. The creature, whatever it was, became more aggressive. It started brushing against the tent, testing its fabric. The couple, absolutely petrified, caught snippets of it on their phone camera, fleeting shadows, a glimpse of something large and dark moving with uncanny speed. They could hear it sniffing around their belongings, almost as if it was intelligently investigating them. They spent the entire night huddled together, too scared to sleep, too scared to even breathe loudly. At first light, they abandoned most of their gear and hiked out as fast as humanly possible, the sounds of their pursuer still echoing in their minds. Chapter 6. The Vanished Campers, a Disturbing Discovery. Our final story is perhaps the most unsettling because of what it implies. This isn't about a direct encounter, but about the terrifying mystery left behind. A group of experienced hikers were trekking through a remote, rarely visited section of a vast wilderness area. They were days into their journey, far from any marked trails or signs of civilization. Then they stumbled upon it, an abandoned campsite. Not just old and weathered, but abandoned in a way that screamed something went terribly, terribly wrong. The scene they discovered was chilling. Tents were still erect but slashed open from the inside. Sleeping bags and personal belongings were strewn about haphazardly, as if the occupants had left in an extreme hurry or were dragged away. Food was left out, untouched by animals, which was incredibly strange for an area teeming with wildlife. There were no notes, no signs of a struggle in terms of a fight, but the entire site had an aura of sudden, panicked departure. The air was heavy with an unspoken dread, a sense of tragedy. The hikers, deeply disturbed, documented everything with their cameras before contacting park rangers. The most disturbing remnants? A child's teddy bear lying face down in the dirt, some distance from the main camp, and a camera with its memory card still inside. Authorities later reviewed the footage, and while most of it was normal family camping scenes, the last few seconds were chaotic, filled with screams and shaky images of the forest floor before abruptly cutting out. What happened to the people at that campsite remains a terrifying mystery, a silent testament to the unknown dangers that can lurk in the wild. And there you have it, folks. 6 of the absolute creepiest, most disturbing camping moments ever caught on camera. From mysterious figures in the dead of night to campsites that tell a silent, terrifying story, these encounters are a stark reminder that the wilderness can be beautiful, but it can also hide things we can't explain, things that can turn a peaceful retreat into a fight for survival. It really makes you think, doesn't it? What else is out there, just beyond the reach of our understanding? Watching from the shadows. These stories aren't meant to scare you away from nature forever, but they are a massive wake-up call. The world is a wild place, and sometimes it pushes back in ways we least expect. The people in these clips were lucky enough to capture their experiences, to share their warnings, but you have to wonder how many others have faced similar terrors and never made it back to tell the tale, or were simply too traumatized to speak. It's a chilling thought. So what's the takeaway from all this madness? Always be prepared and stay safe out there. You never know what might be lurking in the shadows. Let someone know where you're going. Carry a personal locator beacon if you're going remote, and always, always trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. If you enjoyed this video, and I know you did because this was insane, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more chilling content. Let me know in the comments which story freaked you out the most. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.